It's just you're there, and then the moment you could feel the person next to you disappear, the moment it touches you, you are gone. And there is nothing.
I assume this goes out now.
That goes out. And
it's been fun. Yeah, that worked. It's a really strong candle.
It's a strong candle. Try it again.
Trick candle.
Oh, wait, there's 2 modes. On, flicker. There you go. There was a chance. But no, I'm super dead now.
Thank you. Thank you for playing.
Thank you for having me.
Aw.
Thank you all for being so great. You're wonderful people to play with.
Good moment. Actually, and to even go this so far, since you theoretically, your hope was on top.
Yep.
You had it and you were ready to do. You did your redemption, so I will add your hope dice to the pool.
Good
so
luck,
that
guys.
they can roll it down the road.
Shall I,
Leave your things.
Okay.
But you may leave our table.
All right.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Best of luck fighting the void.
Everyone will be with you soon enough.
Yeah. Take care.
We are at 4, and we start our new scene with 4 dice. Let's establish some truths. The world is dark.
We've managed to put about half a mile between ourselves and it, or so we think.
Right.
Millie is unconsolable.
My knee is really acting up.
I can offer one if you'd like.
Yeah, why don't you?
You you can start to smell water. Yeah. So now we begin our scene. Oh. Yeah, no, I already said it. But I would like to take this opportunity to try to go back because there was some important things that were said about wanting to take care. Like you mentioned that there were more kids in the center. Mm-hmm. So I took that truth from you. If you want to be able to resolve anything around that, I'll give you the chance to be able to do it. Otherwise, we can move right along to understanding that there's water close.
I mean,
about choice.
if we didn't leave one,
There was a lot of people.
a lot of people coming at us.
Did I notice anything about a change in speed of it when it was absorbing buildings and or people?
Let's make that a truth. I'm
Okay.
happy to give you that truth rather
Okay.
than the water because I'm the only one who can speak of it.
Yeah.
The truth is, the light pushed it back.
Okay.
It was slower when approaching the light.
All right.
Even though theoretically that's supposed to give you a weakness, it's not a weakness. It still overtook it.
Oh, yeah.
So, you've put at least half a mile behind you at this point. The little amount of sleep that you've been able to get, plus just the sheer adrenaline at this stage. Millie is inconsolable, as you mentioned. She's just sobbing the entire time. She now has 2 women and an old man with her as you continue to push your way through the countryside and past the city. You can start to smell water around you. And what do you want to do?
Okay, if I can smell water, then that must mean that we're near Lake Kawaka. And if we're near Lake Kawaka, then there should be a missile silo. It was one of my other pet projects when I dabbled in.
Engineering and art and missile silos?
When you've lived as long as I do, you gain a lot of interests and hobbies.
He's a Renaissance man.
It was a bit of a trade with the Saudis.
So you want to see if there is a way to navigate to look around.
Well, I'm actually more interested in what's in this missile silo.
Okay. All right. Duly noted.
What do we look for?
What do you look for?
How do we know where it is?
Well, I mean, there would be barbed wire, chain link fences. I mean, it'll be a military installation.
Oh, it is a military installation. All right. You do, because of the limited amount of vision you have due to the little amount of candle, the bonfire was able to give you quite a breath, but that quickly dissipated, and now you're back to the small amount of candlelight that you're continuing to hold on to. The lake itself, or at least the water that you have in front of you, does seem to go both to the left and the right, and your pathway straight seems to be hampered now.
Any boats?
If you'd like to look for boats, we can look for boats.
Should we look for your barbed wire first?
I mean, I'm thinking all we can really do is buy time, and to buy time, we need something bright. And I mean, what's brighter than an ICBM?
You tell
What are
me.
you talking about?
A missile.
Go
a
for
missile.
it. Look for it. Look around. Try to get into it.
Okay.
One for me.
Well, hold on. Can I burn something to?
If you want to do a reroll, but you get to reroll all of them. Well, you don't need
So
to
I-
because you got a success.
All right.
Yeah, there's no need to reroll since you got a
I'm
success.
just so excited about burning my virtue. I haven't had a chance to.
I understand. So take over narrative control.
Okay.
Tell me what you find.
It takes us about 45 minutes of picking along these various inclines. There are things that look kind of like the LA River out here, where it's almost like bunkers, and it's channels for like a reservoir. And they do eventually lead to one of those sort of military sort of gates and guard post sort of thing. It is completely abandoned.
Yeah.
And we go through, and I recognize the base as one. I've seen the paperwork for it. I've never actually been out here.
But you know it's the base.
I know it's the base. And so we find our way through a set of tunnels with catwalks and those sort of things.
Oh my. Well, okay. Yeah.
But then eventually we get to a steel security door with a code.
And its light is on.
Yes.
It is bright and it is light. There is
Yeah.
power here.
Yeah. Okay, so there's power to this door, but I didn't set up these codes. So let's do a little thinking here. Geez, I mean,
How does one break into a military
yeah,
lockdown base?
This is well below my pay grade. I'm also concerned that if I try to punch in after a few attempts, it might lock us
There is a
out.
chance, since you are in the actual base itself, you could look through to see if you can find any kind of codes or remnants, or even
Or
a
key
That's what I would do.
card.
Yeah.
key card. Is that what you'd like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Principal of my school keeps her password on a post-it note on her monitor. You never know.
It's true. And you basically went directly down. You went in, and then you found the pathway leading immediately to where this high security door is. So you can double back and attempt to find some kind of access.
I still don't understand what you're going to do, but
One success. All right. Rebecca, tell me what happens.
someone has actually left one of the 3.5-inch binders with the procedures open to the 90-day mandatory password reset procedure.
And it's right there. Yeah. It's just laid out. So you put the candle on and you're like, what are the odds?
Paperwork.
Yeah.
It's a teacher superpower.
Yeah.
So you, is that, so what's the plan? Is it just to take that and punch it right in?
Well, no, here's the thing. I think everybody should have a choice. And what's most important to me is to make sure that whatever this thing needs to be slowed down or stopped happens before it reaches my collections on the coast. So if you want to take Millie ahead, I'll stay here and make sure that this goes off.
How do you even know it's going to work?
I don't. But I'm choosing to take a risk to save things that are more important than our lives. Our legacy. What we leave behind.
What little remnants of humans that live beyond the meager time spans that we have.
Yeah, or the robots or spacemen that come and take over.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you would like to, wild binge of ride the rocket and die. You would like to basically take yourself and put yourself in here.
I want to wait until the it is as close to me as possible, and that's when I want to activate it and try to make as much light as possible.
Okay.
And hopefully that'll buy time for.
So if
these
I'm
two to
hearing
keep
you
going.
correctly, in a similar way to here, this is another martyrdom?
Can't we just set it off before we leave? And we just lost Ted.
Are we talking about staying and going? Millie chimes in and goes, can we just stay here? It looks really safe here.
Oh, Millie, you can't stay here.
Well, why? You say the missile's is as bright as it is. Won't that scare it away?
It will, but it'll also vaporize us.
I don't think I like this plan, and I am going to pull out the pages from the manual.
How dare you!
Start tearing them up.
That sounds like conflict to me. Rip up those codes, you'll see. Or not. This would theoretically succeed on a 5. But it looks like this scene ends. But this also is something that is against your wills as well, too. I've got it. Rebecca, as you begin to pull out these pages and you start crumpling them in the attempt to rip it up, you you're attempting to rub crumpling these up. You're looking at them. You want to stop Mr. Randolph. You have no intent to see him go into this perilous scheme, to watch this ICBM go off. As you begin to rip them up, you feel a hand grab onto the top of yours, and you look up and you see a man in a beret and a large top coat with several buttons holding onto it, and goes, "Put those down, missy." And he crumbles, takes them off out of your hand for a moment, goes and lays them down. He throws your hand back, goes into it, and goes, "What are you civilians doing here? You know this is restricted property."
I paid for all this.
You paid for all this? The government paid for all of this.
No. I had a contract with the government. And I built them these silos in exchange for trading rights in Alaska.
And who are you, sir?
I am J.P. Randolph. So funny, you simpleton.
You're telling me that J.P. Randolph is one of the few men alive in this godforsaken hellhole?
If I have the conviction to make billions of dollars, what makes you think I couldn't survive anything?
Holy shit, you are.
He's resilient.
Fuck me. Of all...
Language?
We have a child here.
Oh my god, a child. No. Look,
What's your name?
Matthews. Colonel Matthews. Not that that matters. Any of this matters. There's no reason for you to be
you're
here.
a colonel. You earned that.
Thank you. But still, you shouldn't be here. This is restricted territory.
Does that matter anymore?
No, but I have orders, and none
From
of you
who?
concern those orders.
They're all gone. Washington, D.C., who knows? Gone.
There are a few things that men hold on to when they have nothing left, and mine are here. And, well,
All right, then I guess you're staying with me.
Nobody's staying. We're going. Come
We
with
have to
us.
slow this down. You won't escape any other way.
We've fired everything that we have at this thing, and nothing has happened. Nothing has pushed into it.
No, you need to detonate the missile on site to create as large a flash as possible.
You telling me that a flash might stop this thing?
Or slow it down. Feed it enough of the energy it needs.
All right, let's do it. And we'll end the scene right there. Put it together. Let's establish some truths with the last ones we have left.
Sorry I had to take the nuclear option, guys.
Great.
See what you did there.
We have 3 left, 3 truths. So let us establish them. This missile is going off.
Oh, geez, I hate to do this, but I feel like it's in keeping with it. But it will do nothing.
I don't know what to do.
You have no idea what to do. That's a fair truth. Okay. Well, what would you like to do? The sergeant is at this, or the colonel at this stage, has basically taken the papers, and actually at this point doesn't even pick up the crumbled ones anyway. He has it all locked up in his brain anyway. He makes his way back down into the stairs, and he kind of looks at his watch, which is not a digital watch, and he sets it and goes, "This is not a small missile. This is an ICBM, which means that you have to have a safe distance of at least 2 miles in order for you to not be affected at all by the blast. As a result, I'll give you half an hour before I go in there and do this.
Colonel Matthews, come with us.
I have to be here. I need to..." He
No,
holds
you
up 2
don't.
keys.
You don't.
You're not staying either.
I'm the only one who's staying. This is my missile.
Oh,
You have a
look.
perfectly good life, and it's that way, not here.
No, my life is in the West. My life is bronze. My life is marble.
Bronze and marble are the opposite of life.
No, I'm 85 years old. All that matters is what I accomplished.
We can argue about it on the boat that you're getting on as soon as we get to the lake.
I'm sorry.
Do you want the key?
Becca, it needs 2 keys to go off.
So I can't operate it myself. This guy really does need to be
No,
here with
he
me.
needs to be here with
Okay.
you. Yeah. He wasn't going to set it off on his own without it, so...
I will turn to the colonel, say, "Colonel," and then give him an angry hug, and take Millie and walk out.
The colonel looks to you and goes, "This wasn't possible without you here."
It's almost like fate, isn't it?
Well, I guess we have half an hour to get to know each other then.
Do you have a radio or any music? Maybe some Holst? The planets,
Before we do
perhaps?
that, Rebecca, is there anything you want to do?
Angry but gentle action.
As you watch these 2 men glibly talking about what they're going to listen to for the last half an hour of their life.
It is a good, perfectly good life. Are you sure this is how you want to end it?
I'm always sure of everything. That's how I got this far, and that's how I'll go. But I'll be honest, I'm terrified. But you can't tell anyone that I was. Say I was defiant until the end.
Thank you for helping Millie with the fire.
She reminds me of one of my 14 grandchildren.
I have 2 myself.
Ugh, they all hate me.
They wouldn't if they knew you.
I didn't give them that chance.
You're a good man, JP.
You're a good woman.
The legacy isn't the bronze, it's those 14.
Kind of watches the colonel like pulls out a iPhone and holds down the power button for just a second, enough for it to turn on. I've been saving this.
Holst? Revel?
He swipes it up and he pulls open a Spotify playlist. That's where we'll leave you two. As you two make your trek out of the silo area, you take the pace that you can in order to get as much distance as possible. And you walk more than the 2 miles necessary. But at some point in the candlelit darkness, you watch as a flash of light like nothing you've ever seen. A huge supernova of light erupts all around you, and you see it. And for a moment, a brief, wonderful moment as you look ahead of you, you can see the landscape laid out in front of you. And it's almost like nothing happened, as if the sun never went out, as if everything was back to normal. And just as briefly it is there, it is gone, as if someone just smashed the light bulb to pieces, and you hear a brief whoom as you feel a push of air lay you flat to the ground.
Stubborn old fools.
Thank you for playing with us.
Thank you.
I appreciate the stubborn old man that you are. And
Good luck.
we'll see you on the other side.
I'm gonna go be with my paintings.
We have 2 truths to establish. One for each of you. Rebecca?
There is no boat.
I am determined to stay with Millie until the end, whatever that may be.
As you make your way back to the lake, you search in vain for a boat, and you continue to walk across the coastline as long as you can. And you can feel every passing minute leading to every single hour that you are not walking directly away from it. You know that it is coming ever so closer. And that tension, that heart-wrenching realization slowly becomes more and more, and you're just waiting for the moment that the field just comes right across you. It is a lake. You can tell because the waves are not whooshing. So there has to be a way around it. And you just hope at one point there is. And a few hours go by as you are carrying Millie along. And finally, out of the grim darkness, you feel the pier of a boat, or not a boat. We already established that truth. There is no boat. But you establish a pier and a little jetty that goes out with a small fishing hut that just is laid out on the middle of the lake. And that's the first thing you've seen that actually goes out at all into the water. What would you like to do?
Let's sit for a minute.
Yeah. Dangle our feet over the edge.
You sit at the dock, and it's lovely, the little bit that you can see out on the lake. It's the quiet darkness of night, but you can hear the water sloshing as the currents are rippling against each other, and you even see the darkened shape of fish occasionally moving through. And you stare down, and, well, there's not much. You can tell without even looking that it is not far behind you. The air is starting to smell of ozone. You could keep walking, or you could stay here.
Can you swim?
Yeah. Yeah. I had to learn to be a lifeguard for rowing because, we were in the water. So I can carry Millie on my back too.
Do you want to swim?
Gotta go somewhere.
I guess so.
Doing little stretches.
You're the one carrying Millie, so I would like you to roll.
No one.
You had a success. Tell me what happens. Swim, and tell me how it resolves.
Well, I'll have her put her arms around my neck, and just swim towards the. I assume we're going towards the little fishing hut.
We are at the fishing hut.
Oh, we are.
You're
at the fishing
swimming
hut?
straight out into open water.
Oh. Okay.
And you swim straight out into open water. But you can tell me how it ends.
I'm just gonna swim as far as I can, and then when I start to get tired, flip over and float, and teach Millie how to float.
It's getting cold. It's cold, Danny. Can I float a little bit?
Yeah, hun.
She rolls over into the water, splashes down. Rebecca, you've been keeping up at this point. And you kind of float in the water as you're all running across. And you are there, and you can bob in the water, and you're kind of hearing, just the sound of the lake. And for a moment, you're all sitting there in tense silence when she goes, oh God.
What? Millie, what's the matter?
You watch as she starts bouncing up in the water.
I
Like,
try to put my feet down.
and you touch solid land. Oh God. And she just starts, like muscling herself through the water as she kind of gets up and starts running up into the side. And yes, after a few moments brisk pacing, you get through, and you get to the other side of the water.
I'm gonna lay back,
Wait.
amazed and exhausted.
Yeah.
Kind of lay back on the bank. Look at the stars, y'all.
The sky is cut in half as you see all of the stars in front of you, and then the blackness that's there. And if you take a second just to look at it, you can actually see the transition in which a star is there and then the star disappears.
Okay, rise and shine. Let's go.
So you are now freezing, dripping water as you're walking through. What would you like to do?
How close is it? It's like right up on us.
It's hard to tell at this point. You've swam across the entire lake. I mean, it's close.
Let's just start trekking the other way as fast as we can go.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We should get into a little jog to get some blood pumping and
Right.
warm
And you're
up a
going
little
to need
bit.
to dry your clothes, or you will freeze to death, is what will happen. Because the wet, and it's below freezing at this point. So, find some heat.
It's gotta be something.
No sixes. As you continue to trek through the wilderness, you begin to feel your body shiver from the cold as you walk, and your skin becomes frigid as the shivering is now intense as you continue to walk through. Your gear, everything you had with you, soaking wet. All you have is what is on your back, but you keep moving, and you keep moving as much as you can until you're so cold that you can't shiver anymore. This is the final scene. This is the last stand. This is where I take full narrative control over how this is done as we end this session. Danny and Rebecca, you wander footstep by footstep. You trudge over this grassland, and at this point, even the grass has frost on it, and you can hear the crunching, almost like freshly packed snow. As you continue to move forward, you are holding Millie with all you can, as you keeping your coat around her, and you move. But the stiffness of your joints just demands that you can't go anymore. And Rebecca, you being a little older, are the first one to have to stop. You sit down and you watch as Danny just keeps walking. Danny, I don't think even you realize that Becca's not there anymore. You're so focused on just one foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. You don't know how long you've been walking. You don't even realize at the point that Millie has stopped breathing. You just keep walking, and you hold her, both of you, frigid and cold. But you keep walking. And I think at this point, we should go back and listen to your final recordings.
Hi, this is Danny Gonzalez. I never really had the courage to follow through with things in life, and now I have no choice but to follow through or die. So I have hope that it's never too late to change, to make change. If I could say anything, it's to keep going, keep fighting, and I hope to see you someday.
Name's Ted. My wife used to call me Teddy. My son called me Dad. I never thought I was anything special. I never won any awards or got picked first for the team. I've always been average. Nothing more, nothing less. So why me? Why am I still here when so many are gone? I don't feel like I deserve to be here, but I am. And for as long as I am here, I intend to make every second count.
I am J.P. Randolph. Yes, that J.P. Randolph. I'm the richest man in the world, and the way things are looking out there, I will hold that title for the empty aeons to follow. Art is the only escape we have from the muck of our collective id. Walk among the ruins of our world. Marvel at their purity. It is a fitting end.
My name is Rebecca Seward. I don't quite know what to say. Well, I was flying home to St. Louis. This weekend was my retirement party. After a couple of decades at Eisenhower Middle, my girls were 12-time track and field division champs. It was going to be a party. My own grandkids were planning some kind of surprise. Their parents are terrible secret keepers. I really want to see it. Hopefully I will.
And that is the end of our story.